We have all heard about the benefits of dairy products, and it is true because the microorganisms that live in dairy products are of great use to our intestines and many other organs. It is no coincidence that experts recommend that it is mandatory to include fermented dairy products in our diet. But here there is a nuance. The fact is that some fermented dairy products will do more harm than good, and you need to be aware of these products. At the same time, other fermented dairy products are more beneficial. In this video, I decided to make such a selection. First, we will talk about the most harmful fermented dairy products, and then I will tell you about the healthiest ones, so that you will have a holistic picture. Item number 1 is processed cheese. Processed cheese probably does more harm than good. On the one hand, it is a source of calcium and phosphorus, and some vitamins, but on the other hand, it is a great source of phosphates. Phosphates are those substances that are added to give it a pasty texture. Phosphates are harmful, it's been proven. In particular, phosphates interfere with the absorption of calcium, and in fact, significant doses of phosphates begin to destroy the body's calcium reserves. If we abuse processed cheese, we can earn ourselves a bone problem. Phosphates are especially dangerous for children. Abusing processed cheese can even cause rickets. Also, processed cheese contains a huge dose of sodium. It is too salty. Although this very property could note, for example, those people who like to go hiking in the mountains. Regular cheese is stored in the conditions of a hike for a few days, but processed cheese already keeps a lot longer. The next dairy product that will do more harm than good is non-fat sweet yogurt. If you buy low-fat yogurt at the store and it still tastes sweet, don't think you're consuming anything healthy. Sure, you can use it as a source of calories because it's better than going hungry all day, but first of all non-fat fermented dairy products are, in some ways, flawed. Calcium from skim dairy products is usually not absorbed. Secondly, if you read the composition of non-fat yogurt, it often contains starch. You would think, what does starch do in yogurt? Starch is added artificially to give it consistency, and to thicken it. There is no benefit from such starch. It is in fact sugar. Another component I mentioned is the sweet taste. Often just huge doses of sugar are poured into yogurts. Of course, any fermented dairy should be sugar-free. The next item is dairy products with milk fat substitutes. It depends on the country, because, for example, in the EU it is forbidden, but in some other countries it is allowed. So you can make cheese based on palm oil and it will be illegal. We can only hope that the manufacturer itself will write that it contains palm oil. If you buy, for example, sour cream or cheese and it says that it contains vegetable oil, do not buy that. Finally, I'll add, perhaps, the obvious points. These are all sweets wrapped in dairy products. That is, for example, condensed milk or boiled condensed milk is just an injection of sugar. Glazed cottage cheeses are also no good. Now we move on to the healthiest fermented dairy products. Item number 1 is natural yogurt. Exactly, natural yogurt made with quality bacterial sourdough, without added sugar and other unnecessary ingredients. To buy this kind of real live yogurt in the supermarket is difficult to buy. It's available in health food departments, for example, but the best way is to make your own live yogurt. Separately, you buy bacterial sourdough, which is stored in the refrigerator or in the freezer. This is usually white powder. It is pure bacteria. Next you buy milk, usually not ultra-pasteurized, but just pasteurized. That is the milk that goes sour quickly. The leaven is added to the milk and then cooked in a warm place. It's best if you have a yogurt machine. It is able to provide the right temperature for a long period and the output is a very healthy product. The fact is that milk contains lactose, which is milk sugar. That is, it is a simple carbohydrate, and when we add bacteria to this milk, the bacteria start to eat this lactose. It's a source of energy for them. They multiply there, keep eating lactose, and multiply. As a result, our dairy product becomes fermented. That is, it gets sour due to these bacteria. This is why the finished yogurt will no longer have lactose in it because the bacteria have eaten it. These bacteria are what will do the best for our gut and our whole body too, because a healthy heart and healthy microflora strengthen our immune system and nervous system and positively affect our mood and mental abilities as well. The intestinal microflora is almost a separate organ because an adult healthy person has 1 to 2 kilograms of microbes in their body. Can you imagine that? And that's the norm. We have to help the good microbes, conventionally, defeat the harmful microbes. The next item is cheese. What kind of cheese would be most beneficial for our bodies? Nutritionalists often recommend sheep or goat's milk cheeses, and there are a number of reasons. First, these cheeses absolutely have no lactose. Also, goat cheese is less caloric and contains a huge amount of protein, and it also has a lot of potassium, calcium, magnesium, vitamin B, and vitamin C. Excellent composition of probiotics, which is beneficial to microflora. Friends, please write in the comments, do you like to eat cheese, make your own natural yogurt, or do not think too much about it? And now I highly recommend that you watch my other video where I talk about our intestinal health and the foods that promote or harm it. Thank you for your likes, comments, and subscriptions. At the bottom of the video, you will find a lot more useful information. All the best to you.